So we're talking about the rhetorical triangle. And Aristotle, when he talked about it, when he invented it, he talked about it as a way to get through your message to an audience, for a way for an author to make an audience believe that what she or he is writing has power and it's effective. So the rhetorical triangle has three parts. So first of all, it's if any work of literature, any speech, any novel, any poem, any film, any work of art, work of literature is effective, it's going to do all three of these things. So the first thing that something's got to do is it's got to appeal to our sense of ethos. Ethos is just a fancy Latin word, ethos, Greek word, Latin word, for credibility. Okay, ethos simply means, is it trustworthy? Is it credible? So for example, in the book we're reading, Out of My Mind, we're trying to decide, is this novel credible? Is the voice in the novel told from the perspective of melody? Is it trustworthy? Is it believable? One of the ways we find that out is to think about the author, Sharon Draper. So when we research the author, we see Sharon Draper has taught in public schools for many, many years. She's written many books. Her own daughter is differently abled. And so Sharon Draper has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge with which she's writing. And in the story, Melody, the main character, the 11-year-old, tells the story in a very trustworthy, credible way. So we'd say, yeah, there's a lot of ethos there. There's a lot of credibility. We buy it. We believe it. But if that's the only thing a text has, a novel or a film, if it's highly credible and highly trustworthy, chances aren't that we're going to walk away from it saying, wow, that book changed my life because it was so credible. It's also got to impact us in different ways. And another one of those ways is through an appeal to our sense of logos, the Greek word for logic. So logos is our sense of logic. Does it make sense? And if a text or an author or a novel or a film or any sort of work of literature has a good sense of logic, we're going to say, yeah, that fits. I believe that. I'm buying it. I accept it. It's powerful for me because it makes sense with how my mind works. So in the novel, all the events that progress from the beginning to the end, does it make sense? In the middle of the novel, do garlic bread eating aliens show up all of a sudden and we say, whoa, that doesn't really fit. The author took a leap there. I'm not really sure I'm buying that. If so, then it probably would lose us in the sense of logic. Even if we're watching something funny like a stand-up comedian, there's got to be a sense of logos, a sense of logic for how she or he proceeds through their talk and keeps us laughing. One thing ties into the next. There's a lot of segueing going on. So it's got to appeal to our sense of logic. But say we find a book or we watch a movie and it's got a strong sense of ethos for us. It's credible. We believe it. Trust it. It's got a strong sense of logos. But it still might not be amazingly effective for us if it doesn't have one final part of the rhetorical triangle. And that is pathos. And pathos is simply an appeal to our emotion, our sense of feelings. When we read something, we want to be impacted in our heart, not just in our head. We want it to reach our hearts. We want to care about the characters enough to say when the book's ended, wow, I fell in love with this character. I wanted so badly for them to succeed, and they struggled so immensely. We feel like we are a part of the novel too. And so if a novel is going to impact us and be effective, it's got to connect with us emotionally too. When we go and see a great film, if we're laughing hysterically or we're crying and weeping with great pain and suffering, it's because we can identify with those characters. We get in there into the story with them and we feel like we are a part of it too. So between ethos, logos, and pathos, these are the three ways that authors or speakers or even commercial makers, film directors, anybody who's trying to get us to believe a message, they'll try with these three ways. Now the danger is these three ways can try to trick us. People can try to seem credible when they're really not. Or we can try to mask emotion and try to make us feel something that doesn't have a lot of depth behind it. Or logos. People can try to convince us with stats and studies. But the reality is if we examine any text for all three of these things and we find that they're strong, then it's got a good rhetorical appeal. It has a good chance of being effective in convincing us of something. So here's one part of the rhetorical triangle. Ethos, logos, pathos. If you have 3 kids one day, you might name them Ethos, logos, pathos. Ethos, come here, time to clean up your room. Pathos, did you do the potty this morning? Well, these are 3 powerful words and good things we'll practice throughout the year. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great day.